All right, everyone. Welcome to the call. Welcome to the call. Tell us where you're calling in from, and let's get started by welcoming everyone to the Mastery Call. Here we are. Go ahead, and Cyprus is in the call. Netherlands. Who else do we have? Germany, in Nigeria, Portugal, UAE, London, Canada, Latvia, Texas, Australia, UK, again, Canada, Perth, Australia, South Africa, Netherlands. I think that was Greece in the house. Germany. Holy moly. Good evening, everyone. India, Moldova. Welcome, Moldova. Dubai. Japan. Saudi Arabia. Belgium. Welcome. Germany. I saw there's so many going by. I'm just catching another one from Moldova. Welcome to the call. Nigeria. Canada in the house. Greece in the house. Someone says they're from Earth. Planet Earth, welcome. And you got a flag up there. And where is that flag? We got Switzerland, Dubai, Copenhagen, South Africa. Welcome to the call. Who else do we have? India, Jordan, Slovenia. Hello. Where's that? Hello. All right. Welcome, everyone. We're going to get started in just a minute here. If you have a chat, you might want to invite some of your team members to come and visit the Mastery Call here. We're going to have a little bit of fun today, and make sure you grab a pen and a piece of paper before we begin here. And Bangladesh, welcome to the call. Bangladesh in the house. India in the house. Welcome, India. We've got Romania in the house. Pakistan, Suriname, Barbados. All right, we'll give it one more minute and we're going to get started here. Let's give it one more minute. London, welcome to the call. London. Nigeria. Hello from Ireland in the house. UK in the house. Someone says, wow, truly global. Yeah, you got that right. South Africa, welcome. South Africa. Canada. Welcome, Canada. I'm a Canadian too. Way to go, Canada. Kenya, Australia, Austria, Japan, Italy in the house. Welcome, Italy, Netherlands. All right. I think we got the idea here. We got a lot of people here today. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And I wanted to first of all start off by saying hello and good morning and good afternoon or even good evening from wherever you're from. For some of you, it is the morning, early morning, and for others, it's the afternoon, and others, it's late evening. And to all the Aurum, to our foundation partners worldwide, wherever you're calling in from around the globe, whatever language you are speaking, your native tongue. I know we've got a lot of translators here that are translating in the various languages. So welcome. I am honored that you've decided to join the Aurum Mastery Call. And I am so, again, honored to have the privilege to be working with the genius of not only Ahmed Zen, who's the founder of the partner program and also the chief marketing officer at Aurum. That's where it all began with Ahmed. And as well, I get to work with, oh, by the way, Ahmed has a call every Wednesday at this time. And he shares like the leading edge information of what's happening in the company in real time. I really recommend that you schedule that call to get on to make sure that you're up to date so you can share the information that Ahmed shares with your organization, with your team. If you're just getting started, then you don't have a team, and that's why we're here. If you want to grow a little bit or a big business, that's great. And the other thing is I get to work with Brian Benson, the genius of Brian Benson, who's the CEO of the Aurum Foundation, and also a new addition, Leonardo Galindez, who's the CEO of the Aurum Exchange. You're going to be hearing a lot more about the exchange coming up in the next little while. And also, one thing when I think of the exchange that I've never heard before is that he announced that 50% of all the revenues, the little micro fees as people are buying and selling, and you think of any exchange, like Binance and Mexi and Crypto.com and Kraken and Q, all these exchanges, where they make their big money is just in the mic when people are exchanging from this, they take a small little cut. And with Aurum exchange, 50% of that revenue is coming back to you, to the network. And that's amazing. And again, I just want to give a shout out. They really don't get as much recognition as they should. And that's the entire corporate team that's always behind the scenes working 24/7 at Aurum Foundation to make sure that everything stays as smooth as possible as we grow. And we are starting to grow faster and faster. And I want to start off this mastery call by just saying again and again, I mean, it continues to amaze me how much credibility is surrounding Aurum. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but this is huge in a time and place where a lot of crypto nonsense is going on. I guess that's the best way to put it. And so there's a lot of friction when people bring up crypto. But with the Aurum Foundation, what's really unique, especially for the partners, as you start to promote, as you start to introduce others to the foundation, is that, did you know, like, Forbes magazine has written not once but twice about Aurum Foundation, and they're basically calling it the infrastructure, the banking infrastructure of the future. That is a clue coming from Forbes magazine. They also have invited our CEO, Brian Benson, to their advisory on crypto. Imagine that. This is pretty exciting and very, very credible. Also, Entrepreneur magazine has written about Aurum just recently. I don't know if you've seen the article. We can, we get all these articles and just put them all in one spot so everyone can go through the massive credibility. And that's what I'm beginning this conversation by saying how impressed I am by seeing all of these amazing things. But there was an article that just came out again that it was something like the top 10 crypto companies to invest in 2026. The top 10. And guess what? Aurum is there on that top 10 list. And that is amazing. That is just amazing. And again, one of the other things is that Brian Benson himself, our CEO, is speaking on the largest stages in the world, the largest crypto stages in the world. And for example, he spoke at the Ethereum. For some reason, it says that I've been signed out. No, it's okay. I think we're okay. Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to continue on here, but basically, Ethereum had their annual convention not too long ago, and guess what? Your CEO and our CEO, Brian Benson, was on that stage speaking about Aurum Foundation, you got it, and the future of banking, AI finance. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. He was also at Token 2049, and he was also at, again, the biggest stages in the world, blockchain. It was called Blockchain Global. It was in Abu Dhabi, one of the major events for blockchain professionals. And Brian Benson was speaking on that stage about Aurum Foundation, about AI finance and the future of AI finance. And again, he was invited to speak on the Satoshi Roundtable. I hope you got a chance to see some of the pictures that have been posted. This is called credibility. This is getting real, right? And so just a few weeks ago, I think 2 weeks ago now, he was at Consensus Hong Kong, and Aurum actually sponsored a portion of the Consensus Hong Kong. Again, a video just went live. This is all, again, credibility. And while Brian is traveling around the world at these major events, introducing the concept and the sector of AI finance, which I believe he's inventing. This is a blue ocean sector that we get to play in. And this is pretty amazing and exciting. And I want to start off always by first putting the credibility before we even say anything about Aurum, before we do any training, to make sure that you get that. I mean, as a partner, you've got to know that your company, which is Aurum Foundation, is credible. is highly credible. And although, by the way, we have not met yet, maybe some of you have, maybe some of you haven't, maybe most of us have not met yet. My name is Shane Morand, and I'm honored to be the Aurum Chief Network Development Officer. And just like so many others, when I found out about Aurum Foundation, when I found out about this project, and when I started learning about their compelling vision, the compelling vision that Aurum has of really creating 1,000 millionaires that are not millionaires right now. So if you're not a millionaire right now, that includes you, right? And so our goal is to put together systems, to put together strategies that allow 1,000 brand new people to become millionaires. And I don't know if you can't get excited about that. I'm not sure if I can really help you. But, I did over 3 months of due diligence myself, and I came to the conclusion, this was my conclusion, not financial advice, but it's my conclusion, is that this is one of those rare opportunities that really come along every 10 to 15 years. Like my 6-year-old son would say, that is rare that you have an opportunity that only comes around 1 to 10 to 15 years. It's a rarity, right? And so, again, in my personal opinion, I believe that what we're looking at in Aurum, I believe that Aurum right now, already with what it has in place right now, not with what's coming in the future, but right now, we're positioned perfectly. And Aurum has all of the ingredients to become one of the first multi-billion-dollar giants in the AI finance sector. And so let's start off today by making it clear. I want to make it clear to everyone, I'm not your financial advisor. That's not why I'm here. I don't do that. Again, it's not even my role. And it's the exact same as as you. You're not a financial advisor. 99.9% of our partners are not financial advisors. And you're not supposed to financially advise people that you introduce to the Aurum Foundation. I want to start off here with a quick kind of simple illustration of what I'm talking about, of the concept that we want to bring forward to everyone, to our partners, again, around the world, no matter what language you speak in. It's always going to be developing systems. We're not going to do, hey, here's the system for Japan, but here's the system for Europe, and here's the system for Dubai, and we've got Nigeria is going to have their, no. It's one system and one concept, no matter what language, no matter where you live in the world. Now, our role as a partner is really to grow the partner network, not in your local community. You can do that. You can start in your local community, but we want to grow this worldwide, all right? Everybody would like to grow their assets. I don't know anyone that says, hey, would you like to grow your assets? And someone says, no, not me. But everybody would like to do that. So we are not limited by geography and so on. So, and how we do that is we just introduce people to the platform, and we let the platform, we let the products, we let the services that are being provided by Aurum speak loud and clear by themselves. Just like, for example, if you go to a restaurant and you have a great meal, like just think about this. When you go to a restaurant and you have an experience at a restaurant, or you have a really great meal, how easy is it for you to tell your friends? If you had a great experience at a restaurant, we're just focusing on a restaurant for a second, and you start telling your friends about this. Here's the key. You don't have to become the chef to tell your friends about a restaurant, to tell your friends about an experience. You don't even have to know all the ingredients that they put into that meal to make it taste so good, right? All you're doing is you're pointing your friends to the restaurant. You might give them the address, and maybe you tell them about maybe your favorite dish and what you're recommending as a dish or something like that. What you're doing, what you had, why you're so excited. But again, I hope you're getting this concept, is that same with Aurum. You don't have to become Brian Benson, to grow a massive. That's going to take too many years. He's been involved, in the finance industry for over 27 years, and so you just want to really talk to people that that you like, that you trust, and you want to share your amazing experience. I want to give you an example. I want to give you an example right here and right now of something that just happened within 24 hours ago. We had some friends. They're in Aurum. They're big fish in Aurum. Big fish. Grande, right? Big, very big. And I'm in Venice, Italy, and they came to visit. And we had an incredible experience at a restaurant. This just happened 24 hours ago. And I want to tell you, when you think of Italy, you might think of pizza, but I bet that not one person on this call has ever seen anything like this. And I want to set it up. I want to set this up for you. There's five of us. Okay. There are five of us going for kind of a lunch. It was lunch, and we said, "Hey, we know this place we went to, and I think it's going to be fun. I think we're going to have a great experience. Let's go there and have some pizza." So just imagine what you're thinking about when we think of pizza. This is what they brought to the table. Are you ready for this? Check this out. This is what they brought to the table. Are you kidding me? This is for five people. I mean, but it was amazing. The pizza was a little thicker than normal. It was from It was from Naples, right? They make it a little bit different, but it was so delicious. And look at the size of that pizza that they think five people can ever possibly eat, right? And all five of us, and this is amazing, all five of us have, from the time in the last 24 hours, have at least recommended a bunch of people, at least told the story of, oh my God, we went to this restaurant, right? And was so what we're doing is we're sharing our experience. I hope this is making sense to you. And just a sec here, we're just going to get back. There we go. Yeah, I hope this is making sense. And that's what I wanted to paint the picture, is that when we went there, what we're sharing with the people just naturally, it's just a natural, it's not a sales presentation when you're talking about something that you had a great experience with. Now imagine though, let's take it a little bit further, but imagine if that restaurant, that all five of us started talking about it immediately, and then even my wife and I were saying, hey, we got to bring the kids here, we got to tell this person, we got to tell this person about this amazing restaurant. And I wanted to make sure that I don't have to know how to make a pizza to be able to get excited about this experience. But imagine if that restaurant, because of all the referrals that we're going to start sending a lot of traffic there, but imagine that every referral that you had a great experience with, and you naturally just told a friend or a family member or somebody that you know, that's somebody that you care about, and because you had a great experience, you tell your friends, and if they spent money at that restaurant would not only pay you a fee to say thank you so much for referring that business, but imagine this. Imagine if they paid you a portion on the revenue that they collected for the history of not only that person you recommended, but all the people that they recommended when they went and had a great experience, and all the people that they recommended, they remembered that original ripple came from you. Imagine if that was even possible. Of course, the restaurants aren't going to do that, right? But I wanted to really get through to the point here today, is just that what's happening at Aurum, because the experience. There's a customer that just gave me. There's so many stories that I can tell you, but a customer just called, someone that just went in, and they were and they had called me to say, please, can you please share a communication with Ahmed Zen and with Brian Benson? Can you share? I know that you can talk. Can you share this information with them? I said, what's the information? And he says, thank you so much. Like, thank you so much. And this is a customer. This is not someone building a network. They're not on this call. They're just a customer right now. But they had such a story to tell. And I'm thinking, and I asked the question, well, how long have you been involved with Aurum? And they said it's like 6 days. In 6 days, because what they saw the returns coming, they were like freaking out and said, is this even possible? Please tell them thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is just incredible. So I hope, again, this is making sense to a lot of you. I hope you get the concept of what we're doing here, we're going to do, and what's happening now, because the products within the Aurum ecosystem that are not only here now, but the ones that are coming are so amazing. These products and the services are so amazing that our customers and our partners alike are having such a great experience that it just becomes natural to start talking about it. It's just natural. So we're talking right now about Aurum Mastery. We're talking about mastery, and this weekly call is for Aurum partners. All right, it's for Aurum partners, and what I mean by that, this call is not for customers. If someone's just a customer and they just want to enjoy the ROI right? But this call is for partners that are looking to grow their networks bigger, better, faster, stronger. That's who will get on this call, and that's who you want to share this information. We're going to put this call up on YouTube. You'll be able to watch it on YouTube if you're not already watching right now on YouTube, the replay. But this is the I'm on the live version right now. But whether you're brand new, if you're a brand new partner, you just got started this morning, congratulations, welcome. This call is for you if you're just getting started, or if you've already got a large organization, but you want to build it bigger, you want to build it faster, you want to build it stronger, this call is for you, because this is what we're going to do. We're going to share tips that can be helpful all over the world, not just for a certain market. So I hope that makes sense again, and I'm excited. I'm fired up. I hope I'm not the only one excited and fired up, but it just keeps getting better, 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 and better. And so if you're not a partner right now and you're watching this, like, what the heck are you waiting for, right? Back to the genius that thought enough about you to introduce you to Aurum in the first place, and just thank them. Just say, even if you don't understand the whole thing, just say thank you. Thank you, thank you, and get their registration link as soon as possible and join. You can if you're not a partner and you found this video, you can just click the link from the person that invited you, and you can register for free. You can register for free. That's pretty exciting again. And remember, at this point, whether you're new or at this point, the official partnership, the official launch just happened in the middle of January, less than 2 months ago. All right, just started. Now, of course, Aurum had a pre-launch, right? They had a pre-launch where they were putting everything together. They were making sure the pieces were fitting. They were, getting everything ready. But the official launch only happened less than 2 months ago, and that is exciting. So if you're here listening to this call, learning how to build a bigger, better, faster, stronger network, you are amongst the first in the world who are learning about Aurum. Again, whether you're a professional networker or whether you have zero experience and you've never been involved with referral marketing, this call is for you because you're an Aurum partner. And so again, this call happens every week. It's not an introduction to Aurum. All right. We're not going to be talking about the powerful partner compensation plan. Not on this call. There are other calls that focus on the compensation plan. There are other calls that focus on the introduction, and they go through all of the beautiful products and services that Aurum has to offer, the breakthrough technologies that Brian Benson and his team has either already built or they're in the process right now of building behind the scenes as we speak. So again, this mastery call really focuses on ways that together we can help Aurum reach what is the vision. Let's go over this. There's a vision and there's a mission. And what's the vision? If you've been here more than a week, you got to know the vision. Whether you're, like I said, whether you're in Japan or whether you're in Bangladesh or whether you're in Europe or Canada or South Africa, I saw Nigeria here. Wherever you're from, the vision is the same for everybody in any language. And that is to create 1,000 millionaires who are not already millionaires right now, right? And that's the vision. When I heard that vision, I said, this is perfect. I mean, this is a perfect, easy, simple vision. And the mission that Aurum has is really to identify 1,000. We want 1,000 volunteers to put their hand up and say, I want to become amongst the first of those 1,000 new millionaires with the Aurum Foundation. Now, already, by the way, just in the pre-launch, Aurum has already created several millionaires and many, many more coming. It is astounding. It's impressive, to say the least. So again, if you haven't seen the Zone 1 series, you can find it on YouTube. Just click around. You can type in Zone 1. And if you haven't seen that series, you need to go and look at that series again, because we want to create a commonality all over the world that everybody can follow, no matter what your language, no matter what country that you live in. So again, it's on the YouTube channel. It's called Zone 1, but go there. Now, this is the mastery. And again, This concept that I want to share with you is that what we're talking about on every call, can you maybe take some notes, and can you share this information, and would this strategy work in your country, in your language? The answer must be yes. It can work everywhere, right? And the zone one works in every country, anywhere in the world, and it's a concept that every language can use to build their own organization bigger. They can build it faster. You can build it even stronger. And so that's where all the money is. It's all in zone one, if you haven't seen that. But as we begin the mastery call for tonight, I want to answer kind of a couple questions, and I'll tell you what they are. They're very, very simple. But someone might say, like, what is Aurum? Right? What is Aurum? And someone might catch you off guard, or you might have something that says Aurum on it. They say, what is that? Or they might have heard that you're involved with Aurum, and they might say, what is Aurum? Because people don't know. I mean, you can't find one in 500,000 people that even ever heard of Aurum. So the market is massive, and it's available to every one of you. You're so early in this game. It's amazing. Well, what Aurum is, and grab a pen. Here's the answer. It's AI finance. That's it. 2 words, AI. Well, AI could be a word, right? AI finance. AI finance. And what's AI finance? Someone might say. And if they ask you what's AI finance and you don't know what AI finance is, how about if you had a simple way to explain and to introduce AI finance, and so simple that you go, man, I think I can do that. Let me share it with you. I'll share 2 kind of examples. The first one is like if someone says, well, what's AI finance? And you can say, well, you know how most people are tired of watching their money that they have sit in the banks. They have money in the bank, and they're making zero yield for many years now. Their money's just sitting there, but they know that the banks are taking that money and the banks are profiting. And people say, yeah, I know how people are getting sick and tired of that. Well, at Aurum Foundation, everyday people can put their inactive money, their inactive crypto, to work. And they can earn daily passive returns safely and automatically using AI. Okay, that's one way. And again, if you didn't catch that, or if you didn't write fast enough, don't worry. Well, I'll repeat it one more time. Okay, I'll repeat it one more time, but you can go back and find the YouTube and then go over it again. But it's the concept that I want you to think about. How most people that I know, they're tired of watching their money just sit there still doing nothing, no yield, right? But we all know that the banks are taking that money and they're profiting from that money that they're giving you nothing, zero, right? And it's kind of, people are getting kind of sick of that. But Aurum is kind of creating a situation where they're able to get that money working, so that can earn daily passive returns for the customer safely and automatically. That's one way. Then another way that you can put it is, I was talking to Brian Benson. We were talking about this concept, and he just blew my mind. When we were talking to Brian, is always going to be an experience, right? But I asked Brian. I say, hey Brian, what's AI finance? And here's his answer, right? Here's his answer. And you need to write this down, right? What's AI finance? Because once you get past, well, what's Aurum? Aurum's AI finance. Well, what's AI finance? Well, he says, you know what AI is, right? Shane, do you know what AI is? And I go, yeah, it's like Chat GPT, and you can kind of ask it questions, and everybody kind of knows what AI is. So everybody knows what that is. It's kind of getting familiar. And he goes, you know what finance is, right? It's money, right? You got that? Everybody got that? Everybody, AI, and you got money, right? And he goes, imagine what Aurum has done is they take money and they ask the AI, hey, what is the most effective use of this money right now? What is the best use of this money? And the AI starts to go to work to try to grow that money, right? Isn't that cool? Easy for everyday people to kind of get the concept of what it is without going into a long technical background and here's how it does and the bits and bytes. You can explain it in an easy way. And so again, another way to, just imagine that Aurum has figured out how to build an ecosystem, a platform that uses AI, that takes advantage of AI to help everyday people just like you and me to earn daily, weekly, monthly passive returns safely and automatically. So once, and I'll just talk about the AI bot. Once someone pushes on that AI bot to say go, there's nothing to do. Except you could check your computer or you can check your notification bot, right? But anyway, hope that makes sense. Let's get started with today's mastery call. We got a very interesting topic today to share with you, and I want to we'll pull up this screen here. We'll share this with you. And what I wanted to have a conversation with everyone, because I'm pretty sure by now you're having, if you've been involved with Aurum even for a little while, people are saying, "Oh my God, this is so amazing and so fun, and it's helping so many people that we just want to help more and more people, and we want to focus more and more energy on introducing Aurum to everybody. Like who do you know that would like to grow their wealth, right?" And one of the things is I want to talk to you, especially if you're either just getting started in the industry and you're not really full time in the industry, but your dream is to just be full time in this industry. Imagine if you're making enough money every day, every week, every month, every year that you don't, this is your profession, right? You become a professional, okay? A professional. And how do you get to that point? So I remember in my career, when I was just starting out, I had a job just like everybody else. I had a job, but I fell in love with the industry, and I fell in love with the concept of being able to teach another person how to make a little bit of money and a little bit more. And I found the more people that I was able to teach, the more people that I was able to help, the more money that the company would pay. It was kind of interesting. So what happened was my mentor came. I was living in Ottawa, Canada. I was living in Ottawa, Canada that time, and I had a mentor who lived in a different country, and he flew into my city, did an event and kind of helping the team grow, like mentors do. And I went up to him and I said, "Hey," I said, like, I I want to go. Like, I really want you to tell me what do I have to do to be able to go full time in this industry? Just tell me what I have to do to be able to go full time, and I'll do it. Like, I'm hungry and I'm teachable. I can follow instructions, but I just don't know what to do, right? And that's like many, many, many people, and many of you that are listening to this call. You love the industry, you love what you're doing, you love the concept. It's really cool, but you don't know how do you get to that step where you're able to just commit and go full time because there's enough revenue coming to you that you don't need any other alternative, or you don't need a job. Finally, you got your freedom, right? And that was my goal. And for many of you, that's your goal. And I want to share this story with you because it had such a big impact on my life, and I think it's going to have an impact on many people. And I think it's going to have an impact. I know that a lot of you on this call right now, you've already got teams. You're already growing teams. Some of you have smaller ones. Some of you have very large organizations. But I want you to ask yourself, what would this be worth if your team was here on this call listening to this information? Right? Some are not able to be because maybe they're in New Zealand. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, so they're going to go listen to the replay, right? But or maybe there's other reasons, or maybe they've got an emergency, or maybe. But if you had your team listening to this, would it be helpful to your organization, or would it hurt your organization? And I think by the time we're done this call, you're gonna be very, very excited. Now, grab a pen and piece of paper. And again, we're going to translate in every language that's available here, and we'll get more and more languages coming on as we grow. If you can speak a language and you can translate, just contact customer support and let them know that you want to become the official translator of whatever language that you want to translate for. Okay, we're looking for people to help out. Now, here's what he said to me. Get a pen and write this down, right? He said, "Shane," he said, "he or she who holds the marker makes the money." He or she who holds the marker, write this down. He or she, so it could be a he or a she, but who holds the marker makes the money. He or she who holds the marker makes the money. And I'm asking, like, what does this mean? Like, many of you are saying, what the heck does this mean, right? He or she who holds the marker. Then he says, "Well, have you ever noticed the person that's sitting at the front of the room, when you go to a presentation and they're holding the marker and they're drawing all the circles, and have you ever noticed that they're the ones that are making the money?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He says, "It's true." That's true, you know. And then he says, have you ever noticed that when you go to a live presentation, when you go to events, that it's the people that are making the most money that are sitting there? What are they doing? They're holding the marker. In other words, I said, do you mean that they're the ones that are doing the presentations? And he says, yes. And I said, well, then I'm going to practice the presentation and I'm going to get good at doing presentations. And this is how I'm going to go full time. I hope this is making sense to everyone, right? He says he or she who holds the marker makes the money. I'll go back here to show you. There we are. And again, if you didn't get a chance to write this down, go ahead and write it down. And then what happened to me, and this is my own story, I started practicing the presentation like almost 24/7. I became obsessed. And I would take the slides and I would practice in front of the mirror. I would practice in front of people that I know. I would call my friends and I would start saying, hey, can I practice my presentation? I really want to go full time in this industry, and my mentor told me that he or she who holds the marker makes the money. So I want to can I and so I would call my friends and say, can I practice? Can I practice? And they would say, sure, sure. So I was practicing a lot. And my first recommendation is if you want to really make an impact, you have to figure out a way that you can present. Now, we've got other tools that we're developing that's going to make it even easier for you to present. But I want you to get the concept of what I'm talking about. And that is, I know it's again. Was I fearful? Practicing the presentation. Yes, I was. Okay, that's normal because I think fear of speaking is one of the biggest fears. I think three places ahead of death. Most people would rather die than speak in front of people, right? But you just have to speak in front of one. So I would practice with my dog. I would practice with my cat, and I would go through the presentation and just read the slides and get better and better and better. And 6 months later, there was an event in Dallas, Texas, and I ran into my mentor who gave me this tip. And it was so funny because I ran up to him and I gave him a big hug and I said, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And he says, why? And I said, because of the advice that you gave me, I am now 6 months later, I am full time in this industry. It was like a dream realized. I was so grateful and happy that I was a full time, just like I wanted to be. And he said, and he says to me, he reached into his pocket and he pulls out a pen. He says, exactly what did I tell you, right? Because whatever it was, I want to write this down, right? Because how mentors come in and they give all these tips. But I said, you gave me one single tip that's basically changed my life. And he says, what is it? And I said, well, you told me he or she who holds the marker makes the money. And he goes, oh, yeah, yeah. He or she who holds the marker makes the money. He says, yes. And he looked at me right in the eyes and he said, Shane, do you want to make money or do you want to generate wealth? Do you want to create wealth? Do you want to create a fortune? And I'm looking at, do I want to make money or do I want to make a fortune? And I'm looking at both of them. I said, I'll go with the fortune. And then grab your pen because this is going to be important. And then he said, he or she who teaches the most how to hold the marker is going to make a fortune. Write this down. He or she who teaches the most how to hold the marker makes the fortune. But you can't teach someone how to hold the marker if you've never done a presentation. Does this make sense? So my advice is to take the time to look at the presentation. In your spare time, go through that presentation. Start practicing the presentation. Start practicing a couple things. You can like what I did tonight. Like I always start off just by talking about the credibility right away before I even talk about what the bots and all you could talk about the credibility. I did it tonight. If you rewind this, the very first thing that I always talk about is the credibility. And so you can start kind of memorizing all the things that Aurum Foundation is credible here and with Forbes and with Entrepreneur Magazine and the top 10 and Brian Benson and he's a former Binance executive and all the credibility. You can start by practicing just the credibility. And then you say, okay, after the credibility, then I'm going to go into just download the presentation. It's in your back office. And where do you get that presentation? You just go under materials. You go under materials and then you click on marketing and I think we have it in something like 34 languages. Again, it doesn't matter what language you speak or where you live in the world. You can practice the presentation. It doesn't cost you anything to practice that presentation. Once you get good at that presentation, and then you start presenting one-on-one, just one-on-one is fine, one-on-one, one-on-one, one-on-one. And once you do it enough, then it doesn't matter if you're talking to one or if you're talking to 1,000 or if you're talking to 10,000. It's the same presentation. The presentation does not change because you're speaking to more people. I hope this is, again, making sense. But what happened to me, and I said, this is like magic. This moment in my career was really magic because I kind of the pieces started fitting together, coming together, all starting from practicing the presentation. Practice the presentation. And like I said, one of the things that I did, and you can do this too, is I started practicing the presentation, and I would call my friends, I would call people I know. I didn't care if they signed up or not. I wanted to practice the presentation to get good at the presentation, right? To get good at the presentation. So what happened was I would call friends and say, hey, I'm really working hard to do this. Do you mind if I come over? I'd like to practice my presentation in front of someone real. Maybe you can give me your feedback. Maybe give me some comments to kind of help me get better. And it's almost like 100% of the people that I asked if I could practice, almost 100% said yes. I'll help you. I'll criticize you. I'll help you improve. And they're not professional presenters, but they were just cheerfully accepting to kind of critique, the presentation. But what the miracle that started happening was a lot of them, I get to the end of the presentation, and a lot of them said, I want to get started. And I'm kind of going like, I wasn't ready for that. They'd say, I want to get started. I'm going like, you do? Really? And then I started trying to talk them out of you don't really want to get started. And I started trying, and I go, you got to stop doing that, Shane. You got to start. But what do I do? Right? How do you, what do you say if someone says, yes, I want to try, I want to do it. This is good. I want to do it. Right? Don't freeze. But what I want to do tonight or today or this morning, wherever you're listening to this call, is I want to give you some few simple, easy things that when someone says, yes, I want to get started. And yes, I want to do this. Yes, I want to build a community. I want to build a business. I want to participate. I want to help, Brian, and I want to help Aurum I want to become one of the 1,000 millionaires. I want to get started, right? We don't want you to get stuck. So I want to give you a couple simple steps that you can do. Very simple, 1, 2, 3, 4, very easy that you could, if you write it down, you could learn. And I'll go through these simple steps. Again, it's really 4 steps. If you have a pen and piece of paper, write this down. There's really only 4 steps, nothing complicated. If it's complicated, it's not going to grow as fast as we want it to grow. If we can get people started in an easy and a simple way and get them started when they say yes, then we're off to the races, right? So there's a process called onboarding. Once onboarding is just getting their USDT ready, they go to an exchange, they move it into their wallet, send it over to Aurum, get set up. But once that's onboarding, it's a different topic, which we'll cover another time. But once they're in the system and they're a customer because they're alone, right? They're sitting there alone and they want to get started in the actual business of promoting, of networking, of introducing it to others. Here are some of the 4 steps, right? Number one, right? You want to first step is be your own best customer. Be a customer yourself, meaning that if you're starting off with the XAI bot, look at the XAI bot. Look what they're doing. Look how simple it is to click the button, and look around inside and kind of master it. There's not a lot. Once you have your XAI bot set up, there's nothing to do. It's passive, right? So once you figure out, wait a second, all I did was I clicked here, I went here, and I can top up if I want and add more. And so it's kind of easy. There's nothing for you to do, but get good at explaining it, get good at understanding how to get started with, for example, the XAI bot. But in addition, go into the back office and start looking at the Zeus. You don't have to master it, but you kind of start going in there and playing with it and start looking, how does this work, right? And now you become your own best customer. As you start growing, as you start getting more experience, then you start, going into different parts of the platform that can help you grow your crypto, bigger, better, faster, stronger, grow your account. So step one is just be a customer and be a good customer for you, for your family. Okay. Step one, who could do this? Everybody can do step one, right? Step two, and this is again what I recommend. What I always recommend is you got to make your contact list. Who are you going to approach? Who are you going to contact? Who are the people that you know, like, and trust? This contact list is your gold mine. And you've heard all this before. Many of you have heard, if you've been in the industry for any time, you've heard about contact lists. But most people will say something like, "Well, I really don't know anyone." Okay. Let me prove that you do every single person. If that's you saying, I don't really know anyone, let me prove it to you. Number one, if I said in the next 24 hours, okay, and then it's going to be for 24 hours. I know you don't know anyone, but for every person that you can write down on a piece of paper, you got to know them by first name. They got to know you by first name. You don't have to be best friends. You don't have to be nothing. You don't have to be related. You just have to know them by first name. They know you by first name. Put them on your list. And for every person within 24 hours that you have on that list, I'll give you $1,000. $1,000 for every person. All right. Just with that, now how many people do you know approximately? Oh, if you put it that way, I know 800 people. I'll have it to you within 24 hours, right? Well, my story again is when I used this strategy, my list was 156 people. I wrote down, it took me 2 hours, and I wrote down a list of 156 people out of my head that I knew. Bob, and I knew Sue, and I wasn't putting their phone numbers initially. I just put their names down on a piece of paper. I wrote it down, all their names, and I had 156. Well, that 156 people turned into 2.2 million people. All right, 2.2 million people. Now, how much was that 156 people's list? How much was that worth? Do you think it was worth 1,000? Many, many hundreds of thousands per name. Now, to be honest, like I never contacted all 156. I couldn't, because as soon as I started contacting and people started getting started, then they had their list. We started helping them, and I started helping other people and growing the business dynamically like that. And I never got to all 156 people. So don't make sure that you've got a list, and make sure that you grow your list. You can grow it every day. You can grow it every week. You can grow your list every single month, right? You can grow your list even bigger every year. So this is the list that if you run into someone, whether you're shopping or whether you go somewhere and say, that person's really sharp, I like that person, they just have something about them, that's the kind of person. Hey, what's your first name? Hi, Bob, I'm Shane. All right, now we know each other by first name. Now that you put them on your contact list. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So everybody can do this, all right? Everybody can do this, but it's the value that you put on your list. I want you to look at the list as a gold mine, because it is a gold mine. That is your gold mine. It's like money in the bank. The bigger your list, the more money you can have in your bank, all right? And so, except we don't use banks. No, here we go. Step three. You want to engage, you want to find a way. Again, I'm going to give you the concept, and it's up to you on how you're going to implement your concept. But you want to engage at least 4 times a week, even if you've got a job or 2 jobs and you're really busy. What do I mean by that? Well, you might do an in-person meeting face to face, a couple times, or you might do it via Zoom. You might introduce someone or talk to someone on a Zoom event, or you might attend a live event like to introduce people to, and there's many, many, many events that are happening every week. They're published every single week on the Telegram, the English channel, and all the different languages. We publish them, so you never run out of meetings that you can invite someone to hear a live Zoom that introduces them to Aurum. That counts, right? So you want to really do 4 times a week. You want to just be engaged 4 times a week. Either bring someone onto a Zoom, do a Zoom. You might, maybe your sponsor is doing a Zoom and you invite a guest to the Zoom to introduce them to Aurum, to the concept. And you get the idea, right? But you want to try to make a note that step 3 is you want to try to do something 4 times a week, and pick your schedule. You do your schedule. It's like, I can do this, and I have this scheduled, and I have this scheduled to build my business, right? And finally, again, who could do this? Everybody, even if you don't have any experience. And finally, step 4 is you really want to make, and what you want to do is you want to make an 18-month commitment. It's going to take 18 months, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to take 18 months. And you want to promise yourself, you know what? It's not a promise you're making to me or to Aurum or to Ahmed or to Brian. That you make it to your family. You say, for once in my life, I'm going to stick with something for 18 months. And if you can't figure this out in 18 months, go do something else. Okay, go do something else, but give it a chance. It's not, hey, I'm going to do this until the first person says no, and they call it something weird, and I'm out. Right? That's what some people do. That's crazy. Give it 18 months, and I'm telling you, if you give this process a chance, 18 months, and you make a commitment, not to me, not to your sponsor, you're making the commitment to your family, and you're saying, I'm going to stick with this for 18 months. And here's the most important thing. Never, never, never miss a training that you're qualified to attend. Now, not all trainings will you be qualified to attend, because we're doing trainings with certain people that make certain ranks, and then they need to know, how do we get to the next rank? All right. How do we get to the next rank? How do we keep building? And so there's going to be trainings that are not open to everyone, only certain ranks. Okay. But if you are qualified to attend a training, never miss. Never, never miss. You never know. Like this call tonight, just these simple concepts that we're going through. What has that been worth? Not only to you, but imagine if your organization, whether you've got a small team or a large team, if they're hearing this information too, right? If they're hearing about this information, now you got something to talk about, about these 4 steps. When someone says, I want to get started in the business, I want to get started as a partner, not just a customer. So here they are. Just a quick review. Is step 1, be your own best customer, whatever that means to you. Step 2, make sure you're focusing on your contact list and realize that the contact list, the people that you're going to introduce to Aurum, that's your gold mine. That's the gold mine, right? There's where your money is. Engage in 4 activities every week, and you can decide what those 4 activities, a minimum of 4 activities. Some of you are going to do more. We had an individual that when we went through a training, he misinterpreted 4 a week with 4 a day. So he was doing 4 activities every single day, and he became a multi-millionaire because he made a mistake and he didn't understand, right? And then finally, make sure that not only you, but as you're involving a brand new partner in Aurum, you want to make sure you talk to them about, look, if we're going to do this and we're going to work together, make an 18-month commitment to your family that you're going to stick this out for 18 months and your life will change. I mean, this is just the way it works. It's exciting. I'm excited about this. I hope everyone enjoyed this brief time that we've had together. I want to thank everyone. Remember, the VIP call is at this time every Wednesday. Maybe put that in your schedule. Why is it? Because you're hearing directly from Ahmed Zen, who's the founder of the partner organization. He shares updates, and sometimes things happen, and you want to make sure you've got that information so you can pass it on to your team. There's all kinds of great introductions in different languages that happen every single week. One of the things that I want to appeal to everyone, I just heard someone just put on the chat earlier, hey, I'm from Poland. I would like to do the weekly Poland presentation. All right. If that's you, put your hand up. Of course, we want to make sure you've achieved a certain level of success before you start doing the presentations, right? We want to make sure that but just contact customer support and let them know your name, your ID number, and that and your language, that you can speak Polish or you can translate Polish or whatever the language is that's not being represented. We want to include everybody on the call. So I want to thank everyone for chiming in tonight. It's awesome. We're going to post this on YouTube. So if you or someone on your team was not able to attend, you can, once the link goes up, share it with them. They'll post it in the Telegram group. And I want to thank everyone. Thank you so much. Thank all the translators and all the technical people that are putting this mastery together every single week. And we'll see you right here next time on the Aurum Mastery Call. Bye for now.